You know Warren Buffett's story, right? The guy who's worth over $100 billion today? But here's what most people don't know about his journey, and this will shock you. In 1956, when Warren was just 26 years old, he had saved exactly $174,000. Not bad, you might think. But here's the secret that changed everything. He wasn't making a fortune at his job. His salary was decent, but nothing extraordinary. So how did he turn that into billions? The answer isn't what you'd expect. While his friends were buying bigger houses, fancier cars, and taking expensive vacations, Warren was doing something completely different with every paycheck. He was treating his salary like a weapon, a tool for wealth creation, not consumption. Here's the part that will make you uncomfortable. Warren calculated that every dollar he didn't spend in his 20s would be worth $10 in his 50s and $100 in his 70s. Think about that for a second. Every $20 dinner out was actually a $2,000 decision. Every $500 shopping spree was really a $50,000 choice. The sacrifice was brutal. While everyone around him was living for today, Warren was living for tomorrow. He drove the same old car, lived in a modest apartment, and questioned every single purchase. But that discipline created something extraordinary, a money-making machine that never stopped growing. And here's the intriguing part that most people miss. Warren didn't just save money. He had a specific system for turning his salary into wealth, a system that anyone can use regardless of how much they make. Want to know what it is? Today, I'm going to share with you Warren Buffett's exact 7-step system for turning any salary into serious wealth in 2025. And I need you to stick around until the end, because the 7th strategy is so powerful and so counterintuitive that it could completely change your financial future in the next 90 days. Now, I'm not going to promise you'll become a millionaire overnight. That's not how wealth works, and anyone telling you otherwise is lying. But what I can promise you is this: if you apply these strategies consistently, you'll see a measurable change in your financial trajectory within 3 months. Not magic, but real compound growth. Here's what's disturbing about most financial advice out there. It assumes you need a high income to build wealth. That's complete nonsense. Warren Buffett's system works whether you make $30,000 or $300,000 a year. The principles are the same, the discipline is the same, and the results are just as powerful. But here's the challenge most people face. They want the reward without the sacrifice. They want Warren's results with their current spending habits. It doesn't work that way. These 7 strategies will force you to make uncomfortable choices. They'll challenge everything you think you know about money. And here's your teaser. The 7th strategy involves something Warren calls the salary multiplication effect. It's a technique he's used since 1956 that can literally double the wealth-building power of every paycheck you receive. Most people accidentally do the exact opposite of this strategy, which is why they stay broke. Ready to discover what you've been doing wrong with your salary? Because once you see it, everything changes. Did you know that Warren Buffett never spent more than 50% of his salary on living expenses? Even when he was making good money, he forced himself to live on half of what he earned. This wasn't about being cheap. It was about being strategic. Here's how the system works. 50% goes to absolute necessities: rent, food, transportation, basic utilities. 25% goes directly into investments: stocks, index funds, real estate. The final 25%? This is Warren's secret weapon. It goes into what he calls opportunity capital. Most people get this completely wrong. They spend 80 to 90% of their salary on lifestyle, then try to invest whatever's left over. That's backwards thinking. Warren flipped the script. He decided his investment amount first, then lived on what remained. The sacrifice here is immediate gratification. While your friends are upgrading their lifestyle with every raise, you're upgrading your investments. It feels painful at first, especially when you see others enjoying things you're denying yourself. But here's the reward that makes it worth it. That 25% investment portion compounds year after year. In 10 years, it becomes the largest source of your income. In 20 years, it makes your salary look like pocket change. The key is automation. Set up automatic transfers so the money never hits your spending account. If you don't see it, you can't spend it. But here's the problem. Most people run into with this strategy. They sabotage themselves with one specific mindset that keeps them broke. What is this mindset, and how do you overcome it? That's what we'll tackle next. Think about this while you keep watching. What would happen to your life if you could live comfortably on 50% of your income? What nobody tells you is that Warren Buffett doesn't just invest randomly. He has a specific hierarchy, a priority system that determines where every investment dollar goes first. And if you get this order wrong, you'll stay middle class forever. Here's Warren's exact hierarchy. First, max out any employer 401k match. This is free money, and Warren calls it the closest thing to a guarantee in investing. Second, build an emergency fund of 3 to 6 months' expenses. Third, max out tax-advantaged accounts like IRAs and 401ks. Fourth, invest in low-cost index funds. Fifth, individual stocks only after you've mastered the basics. Most people do this backwards. They jump straight to trying to pick winning stocks or cryptocurrency, skipping the foundational steps that actually build wealth. It's like trying to run before you can walk. Warren's philosophy is simple. Secure the guaranteed returns first, then take calculated risks with what's left. That employer match? That's an instant 100% return on your money. Yet millions of Americans leave this free money on the table every year. The discipline required here is patience. It's not sexy to max out your 401k. It doesn't give you exciting stories to tell at parties, but it's the foundation that every fortune is built on. Here's what's fascinating. Warren still follows this hierarchy today, even with billions of dollars. He understands that wealth isn't built through home runs. It's built through consistent base hits, day after day, year after year. But here's the trap that catches even smart investors. They get this hierarchy right, but make one critical timing mistake that costs them thousands. What's this mistake? I'll reveal it in the next strategy. Think about this while you keep watching. Which step in Warren's hierarchy are you currently skipping? Here's something that might shock you. Warren Buffett, the greatest investor of all time, doesn't try to time the market with his regular investments. Instead, he uses a strategy called dollar cost averaging, but with a twist that most people miss. Traditional dollar cost averaging means investing the same amount every month, regardless of market conditions. When prices are high, you buy fewer shares. When prices are low, you buy more shares. Over time, this smooths out your average cost and reduces risk. But Warren's version is more sophisticated. He calls it opportunistic dollar cost averaging. He still invests consistently every month, but he keeps that 25% opportunity capital we talked about earlier ready for market crashes. Did you know that some of Warren's biggest wealth jumps came during market downturns? While everyone else was panicking and selling, Warren was buying. The 2008 financial crisis? Warren deployed billions and made massive returns. The COVID crash in 2020? Same thing. Here's the psychological challenge. When markets crash, every instinct tells you to stop investing or even sell. The news is terrifying. Everyone's losing money, and it feels like the world is ending. But that's exactly when Warren backs up the truck and buys more. The secret is separating your emotions from your investment strategy. Warren has a saying, Be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful. Your regular monthly investments continue no matter what. But when markets drop 20% or more, that's when you deploy your opportunity capital. This strategy has made Warren billions and can work for any salary level. But here's the dangerous mistake most people make when trying to copy this strategy. They confuse a market correction with a buying opportunity. How do you tell the difference? The next strategy reveals Warren's secret signal. Think about this while you keep watching. Do you have opportunity capital ready for the next market crash? Warren Buffett calls compound interest the eighth wonder of the world. But here's what most people don't understand. Compound interest isn't just about money growing over time. It's about time itself becoming your most powerful asset. Here's the math that will blow your mind. If you invest $500 per month starting at age 25, assuming a 10% annual return, you'll have over $2.5 million by age 65. But if you wait until age 35 to start, you'll only have about $1 million. That 10-year delay costs you $1.5 million. Warren understood this principle at 26, which is why he was so aggressive with his savings rate. Every year you delay is exponentially expensive. Every dollar you don't invest today is multiple dollars you won't have in retirement. But here's Warren's secret weapon that most people miss. He doesn't just rely on compound interest from investments. He compounds his knowledge, his network, and his opportunities. Every book he reads makes the next book more valuable. Every investment teaches him something that improves the next investment. The sacrifice here is front-loading your financial discipline. It means living below your means in your 20s and 30s so you can live above your means in your 50s and 60s. Most people do the opposite. They live above their means when they're young and struggle when they're old. Warren has a powerful mental trick for this. He thinks of every purchase in terms of its compound cost. That $5 coffee every day isn't $5. It's $50,000 over 30 years if invested instead. That perspective changes everything. The key is starting now, regardless of your age or income level. Even if you can only invest $50 per month, the compound effect will surprise you. Time is more powerful than the amount when it comes to building wealth. But here's the compound interest trap that destroys most people's wealth. They understand the concept, but sabotage themselves with one specific behavior. What is this behavior? The next strategy exposes it. Think about this while you keep watching. What's the real cost of your daily spending habits when you factor in compound interest? What nobody tells you is that Warren Buffett still lives in the same house he bought in 1958 for $31,500. He could afford any mansion in the world, but he chooses not to upgrade. This isn't about being cheap. It's about understanding the wealth-killing power of lifestyle inflation. Here's the trap that catches almost everyone. Every time your income increases, your expenses increase to match it. Get a $10,000 raise? Suddenly, you need a nicer car, a bigger apartment, fancier clothes. Before you know it, you're spending every penny of your new income, and you're no better off financially than before. Warren's solution is what he calls the spending firewall. When his income increased, his lifestyle stayed exactly the same. Every raise, every bonus, every increase went directly into investments. This is how he turned a middle-class salary into billions. The psychological challenge here is massive. Society programs us to show our success through our possessions. Your friends expect you to live better when you earn more. The pressure to upgrade your lifestyle is constant and intense. But Warren understood something crucial. There's a huge difference between being rich and looking rich. Looking rich keeps you broke. Being rich gives you freedom. Most people choose the appearance over the reality. Here's Warren's practical system. Every time you get a raise, immediately increase your investment contributions by the full amount of the raise. Don't let the money hit your spending account. Automate it so you never see it. The reward is financial independence decades earlier than your peers. While they're trapped in golden handcuffs, working jobs they hate to pay for lifestyles they can't afford, you'll have real wealth and real freedom. But here's the secret that makes this strategy actually work. Warren has one specific mental trick that makes living below your means feel easy instead of like a sacrifice. What's this trick? The next strategy reveals everything. Think about this while you keep watching. What lifestyle upgrades are you planning that might be keeping you poor? If today your bank account is at zero, or worse, this section is specifically for you. And I want you to know something right now. Warren Buffett's strategies work regardless of your starting point. In fact, they might work even better when you're starting from nothing, because you have nothing to lose. Here's what most people don't realize. Warren's first $100,000 was actually the hardest money he ever made. After that, compound interest took over and the money started making money. But that first chunk, that required sacrifice, discipline, and some creative thinking. You're already one step ahead because you decided to watch this video to this point. That decision, to invest your time in learning rather than entertainment, that's already Warren Buffett thinking. Here's your concrete starting plan, and I want you to implement this immediately. Start with just 1% of your income. If you make $3,000 a month, that's $30. If you make $1,500, that's $15. The amount doesn't matter. The habit does. Open a free investment account with any major brokerage, Fidelity, Vanguard, Charles Schwab. Set up an automatic transfer for that 1% to happen every payday, invested in a broad market index fund like VTSAX or SPY. That's it. Week 2, increase it to 2%. Week 3, 3%. Keep going until you hit 25% of your income going to investments. It will take time, but every week you're building the habit and increasing your wealth-building power. What's your current situation? I want you to comment below and tell me what percentage you're starting with. Don't be embarrassed if it's small. Warren started with newspaper routes and selling golf balls. We all start somewhere. The key is consistency over perfection. $10 invested consistently beats $100 invested sporadically. Building the habit is more important than the amount when you're starting out. Remember, you're not trying to get rich quick. You're building a wealth-generating system that will pay you for the rest of your life. So, here we are at the end, and I need to leave you with something that might make you uncomfortable. But it's the truth that Warren Buffett learned decades ago. Building wealth isn't complicated, but it's not easy. The strategies I've shared with you today, the 50-25-25 rule, the investment hierarchy, dollar cost averaging, compound interest obsession, and lifestyle inflation control, these aren't secrets. They're available to anyone willing to apply them. But here's what's disturbing. Most people will watch this video, nod along, maybe even get excited about changing their financial future, and then do absolutely nothing with this information. They'll go back to spending every paycheck, making excuses about why they can't invest, and wondering why they never get ahead. Are you willing to pay the price for success? Because the price isn't just money. It's giving up the instant gratification that keeps most people broke. It's choosing long-term wealth over short-term pleasure. It's being different from everyone around you. Warren Buffett became one of the richest people in history, not because he was the smartest, but because he was willing to do what others wouldn't do. He was willing to live below his means while others lived above theirs. He was willing to delay gratification while others demanded instant satisfaction. The question isn't whether these strategies work. Warren's 100+ billion net worth proves they do. The The question is whether you're willing to implement them consistently, even when it's uncomfortable, even when your friends think you're crazy, even when every instinct tells you to spend instead of invest. 5 years from now, you'll be somewhere. The only question is whether you'll be in the same financial situation or whether today was the day you decided to follow Warren's blueprint for wealth. Leave me a comment if you've made it to the end of this video. I want to know who's actually ready to change their financial story using Warren Buffett's proven system.